Good evening, good afternoon, good night to all of you around the world. We're opening up chat right now. Make sure chat is all working. Good evening and welcome to a very special episode of Momentus. Tonight we are doing something we've never done before, and quite frankly, I'm a little frightened of. I just wanted to welcome everyone here to tonight. We are going to be going to one of the, if not the most haunted location in the United States. And I hope someone will hold my hand because I don't know if I'm ready. Also, I wanted to let you know that I got a specific shirt for this event tonight. And I just wanted to share that with you all. Yes, this is my shirt for the evening, for the year. I'll probably wear it every day for the rest of my life. But we're very excited to do this because this is a never been done before for us. So Amy is going to be taking us through everything. Yes. All right. People are finally filing in. Here we go. And yes, this was my shirt during 2020 as well. Thank you for noticing. That's great. Amy, are you here? Can you hear me from the great beyond? Are you?
It turns out I'm here.
Okay, good. I hear you, but your corporeal form has not yet appeared.
Clicking the button. I'm clicking the button. I'm here. Here I am. I'm like, of course, as soon as you were like, okay, we're gonna go off camera for a minute, the lights started lighting up on the bed, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm not gonna talk, but it's nice to see your face. Tell us where we are first and get us oriented to what's happening right now.
Okay. So we're going to be super respectful as we talk about this. Of course, we are at the Mount Washington Hotel in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. One of my favorite places in the world, one of the most haunted places I've ever been. I call it the most haunted place in the United States, honestly, after having been so many places. We are actually in Princess Carolyn's room. This is her suite. And just to kind of give people like a quick backstory on Princess Carolyn. Also, viewers, I'm going to rely on you to yell at me if you see anything going on behind me because it's a very small screen for me. Or if you hear anything strange, just like yell it out in the chat for me, please. So we're in the Princess room. This is 314 at the Mount Washington Resort. Princess Carolyn, sorry, I just heard a big bang in the room. So I will get this right, I promise, Princess. So Princess Carolyn, her husband, Joseph Stickney, built this hotel. And then he passed away a year after it opened. But she inherited the hotel and she continued to summer here. She ended up marrying a French prince. And even then she came here and eventually, when the prince died, she moved to New England permanently and she passed away in Providence, Rhode Island. But she ended up being buried next to Joseph still. She always said that once she never found anyone like Joseph and she loved the prince, but she never felt, it was not the special love that she had with Joseph originally, right? So they were buried side by side in a mausoleum in New Hampshire, not far from here. And the view, there's a stained glass window in the mausoleum. And the view is of not the Mount Washington, but if you look out this room and to the left, it's the two mountains there. So it's the exact view you see from this suite. So it's very sweet. And this is her bed that she traveled with. She actually took this bed everywhere she went. So when you stay in this room, you sleep in Princess Carolyn's bed. And so it's a really special place and she's a really special person, so.
How long have you been coming to this location?
I have been investigating here since 2007.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've been a regular here. I started coming here before Omni bought this place, and they've been very respectful of the legacy of the princess and everything. And they've kept this room exactly as it is, or as it was. I believe, and I can't say for certain, but I believe her suite actually extended to the room next door, which is a connecting room, which also has a lot of activity. So just if anyone's ever here and they can't get this room, if you get into 316, it's also super active.
That's amazing. And so you've set up some equipment here. I've always wanted to go on a ghost hunt. Tell us what you have set up here.
Okay, so on her bed, I have what's called a paranormal tripwire. and it's lights that each light is an individual EMF detector. I have also, so I brought some things I have yet to set up. This is a Paralamp. It's made by the same people who do the tripwire. You can probably Google it. I don't remember what company it is. This also lights up if like that, if something touches it or interacts with it. Now something that I brought a digital voice recorder, of course. This is the Panasonic DR60 that I really like. Something that the princess has really responded to last time I was here is something called the dead bell. I have not started it yet. So basically, once you turn it on, a spirit can kind of touch it, however they do, and it will ring. And the last time I was here, she really interacted with it a lot. She also tends to open those drawers right there. Those will open on their own quite often. And she's very chatty. So hopefully we'll get some EVPs.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I mean, take it away. And if you have questions, please use the Q&A. And obviously we're here entering this space. So if you can all kind of maybe hold Princess Carolyn in your mind right now and just like ask for permission. We'd all want to be respectful.
And like, Google her and find out about, it's Carolyn Stickney, or I cannot, even though I just recorded the audio version of my cookbook and I had to say the prince's name 1,000 times and I can't remember, but it's very French. And so you can look him up too. I'm going to set this up. Okay, so the lights just went off on the bed.
I saw that.
When I brought up the prince and pronouncing his name. And I'm sorry, I remembered Lucinge. That's what I remember. I'm sorry. But we can, okay, so let me just go set this up. I'm going to put the lantern here. And I'm going to put the dead bell here. Now, obviously we investigate in the dark a lot, but I have the lights on pretty low in here just so you all can see what's happening in here. Yeah, I feel like the princess knows me at this point. And I've also done so much history on her. So I'm gonna move this too. And that's the bell, thank you. Okay, hi. I remember last time I was here, you really enjoyed that, so I brought it back. Do you wanna, yes. Do you wanna set up maybe like a ding once for yes, ding twice for no? Would that work? Do you think that'll work, ding once for yes? Can we try that? Or do you just want to wing it? She loves the bell. Last time I was here, so I'm going to sit next to it, but I'm going to have my recorder. Oh, also the most important part of the investigation, the most important piece of equipment is a glass of wine. So don't forget that. Okay. I'll be back to read the chat. Yes, the princess loves wine, she told me. All right. All right, let's do a quick little EVP session. I'll come back that way. And you want to talk? No, you don't want to talk. All right, well, can we try? I'm gonna set it right here, okay? Okay, I'm glad you're on board. Do you not? How about this? If you talk towards the red light, I know you know what this is. Can you tell me what your name is, just to be sure it's you? Can you say your name for me? Thank you. I've been in this room many times, and I find it very comfortable. I understand why yes, I understand why it was your favorite room, is your favorite room. Do you like sharing it? Do you like people staying here? What other parts of the hotel do you visit? I've always wondered, I know this is your room, but do you go anywhere else in the hotel? There was a woman here recently who lost her wedding ring for multiple days. And 8 or 9 people came in here looking for it. I just heard this story this morning. But she said the day she was checking out, she found it laying right in the middle of the floor. Was that you? Why would you take someone's wedding ring? I'm just curious. Do you have any favorite employees here that come in and out? People that you see often, or that do you have any favorites? Yes. I hope you're answering here too. I'm gonna listen to this. I wanna see if I hear you, okay? All right, I'm gonna go back over this. All right, friends, let's see if we got any answers. Check your audio settings. My Audi settings.
Or your Audi vehicle. Yeah, there was some people had a little trouble hearing, but most people could hear you.
Okay.
What was the name of the Panasonic
This
that
is
you're
the
using?
Panasonic DR60.
Got it.
It's very old. Okay, here we go. The bell. She's dinging the bell again. Okay. I should say this recorder, so this recorder, when you, it only records when it hears audio. So like it will be like, if you hear me asking questions, it'll just like skip through really fast if there's no response. Okay, Hank, can you stop dinging it till I'm done? Please, just so we can listen in case you talked.
How about this? If you talk towards the red light, I know you know what this is. Can you tell me what your name is just to be sure? And can you say your name for me?
She answered with the bell a lot
I've been in this
instead.
room many times, and I find it very comfortable. I understand why it was your favorite room. It's your favorite room. Do you like sharing it? Do you like people staying here?
She kept answering with the bell. It's so funny.
What other parts of the hotel do you visit? I've always wondered, I know this is your room, but do you go anywhere else in the hotel? There was a woman here recently who lost her wedding ring for multiple days, and 8 or 9 people came in here looking for it. I just heard this story this morning, but she said the day she was checking out, she found it laying right in the middle of the floor. Was that you? Why would you take someone's wedding ring? I'm just curious.
She's answering the same questions.
People that you see often, or that you have any favorites? I hope you're answering him. I'm gonna listen to this. I want to see if I can.
Okay, she's doing. Okay, so what happened is every time I asked a yes question, she answered yes on the bell. But then when I was playing it back, she answered again using the bell.
I mean, instantaneously, it was this almost like ding ding.
Yeah, it was like the exact, and I was like, okay. So, she loves the bell. I know she does open the drawers. I've asked her, Carolyn, I know you like opening the drawer. Do you mind opening it tonight? I haven't seen it tonight at all. But if you want to open the drawer, or whoever's here, even if it's not Carolyn, whoever likes to open the drawer. Right now, so normally when I come in here, I have, 8 to 10 people with me. But right now there's a lot more people than that watching through this little camera. You're being broadcast all over the world. Yes, it's true. So, And I was explaining to them about your bed as well. And you can light up those lights too. Sorry, there's another like banging sound. So the kitchen, the weird thing about this room is the kitchen, which I might take you into in a minute. Sometimes if you go in, there's like a little kitchenette. It's not like an actual kitchen. But sometimes you'll get the sound of like a man in there and he seems really angry and I don't know who he is, but I've done EVP work in there and you'll hear him like on the recorder. So what I might do is put the recorder in there. Yes, you heard it too. Because like I've heard twice now, there was a bang from that direction and then I heard like a pop and it did kind of sound like a cork popping. So I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about. So if you see like yeah, I'm trying to see if, okay. So there's the brown door and where those 4 pictures are, that is like a little kitchenette area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the recorder in that room and I'm going to ask questions from here. So we'll make sure you can kind of see it all. She agrees. So, and yes, I might turn the bell off. I'm going to turn the bell off for a minute, Princess Carolyn, just so we can talk. Yes, just from, I'll turn it back on, I promise. So I'm going to go put this in there really quick.
Also, just a reminder to our audience, if you have questions, the chat sometimes moves quickly. So if you ask a question in chat, we may not be able to see it. So if you use the Q&A box, you can ask your questions there and they'll log and then we can basically go tick through them pretty easily. And then there's questions around a few different things actually, which is great. It's so fascinating too. So the dead bell works basically by detecting EMF spikes. Is that how it works?
Yes. And you can set the sensitivity. So right now I had it in like a middle range. So it wasn't super sensitive or anything, but I knew from last time I was here that she really, like, sometimes you'll sit and you'll talk and it will be completely silent for like 5 or 10 minutes. And all of a sudden she'll be like, hello, bing, bing, bing. So,
Yeah.
okay, so right now, so whoever's in the kitchen area, my name's Amy. I've been here many times. I don't know if you remember me, but I have set that little silver box in there. That's a recorder. And I'm sorry if you already know this. I just want to make sure you know what it is, but it's a recorder. It can hear you even if I can't. So if you're talking and you're not sure that I can hear you, just keep trying. And I can play it back and hear your voice. It's like music, like you would hear on the radio or maybe like a record. So if you're in there, can you tell me your name, please? And how long have you been here? Do you know someone named Steve by chance? I'll explain more about Steve in a minute. Also, you guys might hear things that I can't. So kind of like electronic voice phenomena, which is EVP, which is what I'm trying to get on the recorder. Like you might pick things up that I don't hear. So definitely keep listening because we can like,
They're saying they heard a noise.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
What?
Yeah,
Because the microphone's picking up something that maybe you didn't hear.
So why do you stand in the kitchen? Why don't you come out of that room? Is there anywhere else you go in this place? Where did you come from exactly? Okay, that was somebody slammed a door out in the hallway. I hope.
So they're saying they heard, a number of people say they heard a sound,
Yeah.
a loud sound. And can you guys describe it? Because they heard a sound just now.
I heard a door slam in the hall, but that was like right just recently.
They're saying it was like a sneeze or like a clearing some of a voice or something.
All right, let me grab my recorder. All right, I'm coming to get the recorder if you have anything you want to say. All right, so this is going to go for a little bit, just to give you an idea too of what you're looking at, because I know we showed you that. So this room's, so there's a desk, you can see the little kitchenette, there's a closet to the right of the door right there. So there was a doctor and his wife staying here recently. And they said that they kept seeing lights in that closet. It looked like somebody had a flashlight in the closet and it was shining around the edge of the seam of the door and under the door, and they kept opening it and nothing was there. And like, this is something that happened just in the last few weeks. Princess's bed, me. But then if you come over here, there's a whole, like, there's a fireplace that I have going right now. And then the bathroom is in that far back corner back there. So just to give you a little lay of the land. The paint color is beautiful.
Do you want to tell a little bit more about Princess Carolyn? I know some people, I mean, if you were in our Love Never Dies, maybe you heard more, but.
Yeah, just what I was saying before is that her husband built this hotel. This is the Mount Washington Hotel in New Hampshire. You can, if you listen to my episode of Haunted Road about it, it goes into great depth, but there's also a ton of information about them on the internet. But her husband built the hotel. He died a year after building it. She took over, like inherited the hotel and summered here until she died. And it was just a very important place to her, but she was called the Princess because she actually married a French prince after her husband, Joseph Stickney, died. But she never stopped loving Joseph. So as I said in the beginning, they're actually buried together in a mausoleum in New Hampshire. And so she's been rumored to haunt this place for a long time. Up until a few years ago, they set a place setting for her in the dining room every single night. She was famous from this vantage point up here, and then there was another balcony she had access to. She could watch all of the women coming into dinner every night, and she would pick her dress she would be the last person to arrive. She'd pick her dress based on what everyone else was wearing, because she always wanted to make sure she was the best dressed. So she was quite a character. People loved her. All right, so let's listen to that recording. This is just the beginning. We were still chatting. I will. If I hear something, I'll hold it really close to the mic. This is just you and me talking. Okay, there was a weird voice there. Okay. You hear that? It sounded like a man saying quiet. Here. Quiet. You hear that? Because so this is in the other room and I'm in here. So Charlie and I are chatting away. Sorry, I just heard another, like a loud bang from that room again. It's in the kitchen. There's some angry dude in the kitchen and I don't know why. Like, I'm getting full body chills right now because I'm in here by myself and I'm never in here by myself.
You're fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So let me play it one more time for you. Okay. Quiet. Yeah. Okay.
They're saying wine helps with safety. I don't know if that's true.
Okay, now I'm talking to him. I think he said quiet. He says quiet again. Listen. Quiet at the very end there. He goes, quiet. Quiet. Yeah. It's not as loud as the first one. I don't know what he says. Sorry. So there's a lot of noise coming from that room right now. There's a lot of like tapping and clicking. So I ask what his name is, and I hear an answer. Maybe you guys can hear it better than me because I can't make. But there's.
Amy,
Yeah.
you there?
Yes.
Your video just turned off.
Can you hear me? Wait.
Yeah. Oh, let me.
It says it won't.
Hold on. What's happening?
I don't-
Okay.
Okay. Start my video.
Okay, we're back.
As long as it's working and it doesn't shut down completely, we're good. Everybody's okay. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. Wait. They are messing with me. Okay, so I say, if you're in there, can you tell me your name, please? What do you guys hear? Because I can't figure out what is it. I hear papu, tattoo, like 2 syllables. I can't tell what he's saying. It's really quick. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but
Yeah.
hold on. I need my wine. It's my.
Yeah. Emotional support wine. So, yeah, some people are having issues too, where their Zoom is freezing up, and then we lost your video. And
This is the first time we've attempted this.
well, let's not rule out that these are outside forces right now, but
I know. Well, yeah. Yeah, I can hear. All right. So, okay. So real quick, I want to tell you the story of Steve for you guys who don't know the story of Steve. And I don't know if it's Steve. Okay. This is a really strange, this is one of the weirdest stories ever. Yes, you will be able to watch this back. Okay. So years ago, I want to say this, like, I can't remember if it was pre-COVID, a few years ago. So I'm good friends with Kyle Patrick and his wife, Sarah Patrick, KJP and Sarah KJP. They're like big influencers in New England. They're 2 of my best friends. And they came up here during one of my Strange Escapes weekends, and we were investigating in this room. And they came in, and not a lot was happening in the room, and they decided they were going to go to bed for the night. And so they leave the room, and we're doing an Estes session, which is where someone is listening on the headphones of a spirit box, and they have a blindfold on, so they can't hear what is going on around them. So as soon as Kyle and Sarah leave, something starts coming through the Estes box, or the Estes session, the spirit box, and it's saying, Kyle, it's Steve, Kyle, come back, it's Steve. I want to party. Where are the girls? And like, I'm sitting here and I'm going, there's this like weird ghost asking for Kyle, but Kyle and Sarah just left. Like, what is happening? Did you see the lights just go off behind me? Okay. and so, um, and so I'm getting full chills now because I don't know who Steve is, and he's kind of my loose cannon person in the hotel, and he comes to this room all the time. So basically, at that same moment, I text Kyle and Sarah, and I'm like, "Hey, I know you guys left, but there's some ghost here asking for Kyle." And Kyle like texts me back and he's like, "Are you shitting me right now? Are you kidding me? Like what?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "You don't understand what's going on in our room right now." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And so in the room, their room where they were staying with I think they brought his brother-in-law or a relative to come watch their son because he was a baby at the time. So in their room at that very moment, like the lights turned on and off and a door slammed by itself, like right when that was happening here. And so they came back and not a lot happened after that. But what Kyle had never told me and had never told anybody was that every year they would come spend, sorry, another bang. Every year they would come spend New Year's Eve in this room. It was tradition. And they would bring a bunch of friends and stuff and they would all stay at the hotel, but they would have their New Year's Eve like party in here. So one year, I think it was like 2016, they were in this room and some guy came through the door and he came in and he's like, "Hey, what's up? My name's Steve. Is this where the party is? Do you guys have any like Coke?" Like he was like asking for drugs. And he was like, "Oh, is this where the girls are? I want to get high. You guys want to party? You want to get high?" And they were like, you need to leave. And so they like kicked him out. And then they called security and security was like, "We don't see this guy anywhere." Like they told him what he was wearing and everything. They're like, "We don't see this guy anywhere." And then he came back again and they were like, dude, you really need to leave." And they kicked him out of the room again. And so security was like on red alert looking for this guy who's like going around asking people for Coke and shit. And like, but he wasn't, nobody ever saw him again. Nobody saw him. And so fast forward years later, I'm in here and some weird random ghost comes through named Steve looking to party, looking for the girls, looking to get high. And I didn't even know that. No one knew that story because Kyle had never told us. So anyways, we don't know who Steve is. Some people have done some research. There was a hiker who was staying here at the hotel in the 80s named Steve who died on Mount Washington. But I feel like a hiker is not going around asking for blow. I don't know. It's just me. So anyways, it's a crazy, crazy story. So,
A performance enhancing hike? I don't understand.
I mean, it is a really difficult mountain. I don't know.
Oh, fine.
But Charlotte did it when she was 8. So
she didn't even do the cocaine. So what? I don't know what his problem is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's just a crazy story. So anyways, I don't know if that's who is in the kitchen or maybe that was a separate entrance before or what the story is. But yeah, so it's a really weird story. So anyways, Steve makes an occasional appearance. I don't know if that's who's in there, but it's very.
I would love to see a picture of Steve and figure out that he's got like a puffer jacket and big like 80s glasses and just full blown.
So there's another weird story. I'm like, it's weird how we talked about Steve and all the lights came up. That was either Steve or the princess, but so the other story is Adam Barry. So we used to investigate up in the towers here. And I'm sure some of you have heard this story, but so we used to investigate up in the towers. Sorry, things are moving on the table now by themselves. I'm waiting for the drawer to open. We used to investigate in the towers. We're not allowed up there anymore just because they're dilapidated and falling apart. But we had to be very careful about who came up there. So everyone who does a Strange Escapes has a badge. And Adam was running a group up in one of the towers. And this woman came up to him and she had like a bob. He's described her to me so many times. She had a bob and like really thick glasses and she was holding a Coke bottle in her hand and she had red sweats on. And he was like, "Can I help you?" And she's like, "What's going on here?" And he was like, oh, we're doing this investigation and she just seemed completely clueless about what was going on. And he said, yeah, you guys are hearing it all too. But anyway, so he said someone asked for his attention or something in another room. So he like looked away, but then he looked back and this woman was gone. And then he realized she didn't have a badge. But the thing was, the Coke bottle she had in her hand, he was like, right when he was like looking away, he noticed it was filled with like cigarette butts and like, and he was like, who is this woman? And no one ever saw her again, except we came back 2 years later and one of the staff members was like, we saw her. Like they saw the exact same woman like wandering down the hallway in her sweats, like in her red sweats. So anyways.
That's interacting with someone and then no one having a recollection of that
No
is
one knowing.
the worst. It's the weirdest feeling.
It happens here all the time. So like you'll go down the hallways here and you'll like see people ahead of you and you're like, oh, and then you round the corner and they're just gone. It happens here all the time.
Yeah.
So anyways, I don't know if we finished this recording. Let's see. Okay. That's us just talking. Okay, there is. Okay, so there's definitely, I say, where did you come from exactly? And there's an answer. So here, let's see. He almost sounds like he's saying, I don't know, but it's very slow. It's like dun, dun, dun. You hear that? I don't know what he's saying. I come from, you're right, I hear that too. I come from. I feel like it says I come from hell, but I don't want to hear that.
And it's interesting, you had talked about it in earlier, because you did a ghost hunting 101 series with us before. You talked about how things are non-linear too, where we've just been discussing, we don't know where Steve is from for a good 15 minutes. But he literally says, I come from,
Yeah.
and how that interlinks. It's just interesting to think about that possibility of those things happening in a non-linear format.
Yeah, well, I feel like, so someone was saying, I've never heard stories like this before. I don't encounter things like this in a lot of hauntings. There's just something very weird about the Mount Washington Hotel. And it's like, anyone who's been here knows, like you come around the corner and it's just this huge beacon in the middle of nowhere, this beautiful white hotel around and with nothing around. So in my mind, I just imagine these spirits maybe seeing that and being attracted to it in some way. But then on top of it all, they built a cell tower inside one of the towers. So like when you go up there, there's like a full cell tower inside. And I'm like, what is that doing? I mean, I don't know. Like, is that some sort of, so yeah, I'm not sure, but here. There we go. There's 2 syllables. I don't remember. He says, I don't remember. Listen, really careful. He says, I don't remember. That's crazy. I don't remember. That's wild. It is really sad, actually. Someone says that's sad. That is really sad. I don't remember. Thumbs up on the I don't. That's so interesting.
And
Yeah,
do you think those two things then can be linked? Like I don't remember where I come from. I come from
I
I
don't
don't remember.
remember. I don't know. Like, I
Gosh.
don't, yeah, I mean, thankfully we're in a place that I come to a lot. So like I'll be investigating here the next 2 nights. And
Yeah.
I'm bringing one of my good friends here this weekend who's a really great medium.
Amazing.
I'm not going to tell her any of this because I want to see if she picks up on it. But hold on, let me see if there's anything else here.
Somebody get the recorder. Can anything you want to say?
All right, so that was the end of that file. Um,
Yeah. And we've got questions in Q&A if you're ready for them.
yeah, and let's just keep
Keep an eye.
turn the dead bell on again, just because I feel like I don't want to ignore the princess, and that's her favorite thing.
Yeah. Gosh.
I'm gonna turn the sensitivity down a little bit. Okay. You can ask her questions too. Is that okay? Can they ask you questions? Okay.
So don't forget to use the Q&A box here, and we'll keep an eye behind Amy at the lights there, that tripwire.
I'm surprised the drawer hasn't opened, honestly.
I know we're right there. There's something. We're in the
I
pocket.
You could. Oh, you don't want.
She's not gonna do what you want her to. She's doing her thing, man. That's you can't.
I understand.
Yeah, I mean, you're a little bit that way too, right? Like you're like,
That's very true. That's why we can relate.
you guys are friends, yes. There's a question from Amy here in the Q&A. Will an iPhone pick up EVPs in a video or the voice memos?
Yes, so use the voice memos. The best thing about the voice memo, let me show you. I'm also going, so the production manager from Kindred Spirits is here, and he has the ghost bread for anyone who's familiar. If you know what I'm talking about, and bring it to the room. So you might, yes. Oh, sorry. She's like, no. So you guys,
in no way.
you guys can see the ghost bread. He's just gonna drop it off really fast. Okay. She seems to have mastered the once for yes, twice for no, and then the just freak out absolutely
Just
not.
start hitting the button. Yeah.
Multiple dinging. Okay. So in the voice memo function, so right now I am recording in the voice memo. My name is Amy Bruni. I'm doing a recording. I'm in the princess room. Okay, yes. So when you go to play that recording back, okay, I will pay attention to you in a moment. There's a little button that says skip silence. So you can push that and it will literally just play back only what it heard. So right now I am recording in the voice memo. My name is Amy Bruni. I'm doing a recording. I'm in the princess room. So it doesn't, so well, I'm telling you that because if you want to use it as a digital voice recorder, like as you're investigating, or if you think you're sleeping in a haunted room and you want to run your voice memo, you can use that setting to listen to hours of audio and it's only going to play back what it picks up. So it's really, it's really handy. Yeah. And obviously the camera is great too. And your camera doesn't have to, we've talked about this, but I know a lot of people didn't take all the classes and stuff, but the camera's great, even if you're not just trying to catch anomalies. I'm not a big fan of photographic or video evidence, but just capturing the scene so you know and remember where everything was. So,
and especially if things move or,
exactly.
Good to know, good to have. So someone's asking, how does the energy feel in the room? I mean, obviously you've talked about not being a psychic necessarily, but do you have any sense of that feeling when that's?
It feels, right now it's feeling a little lighter, but for a minute it was feeling really heavy in here. Like, I'm not psychic, but I've been in enough haunted places that I can kind of tell.
You feel a pressure, or what's that sensation like for you?
It's like the hair on the back of your neck standing
Yeah.
up. Like, you feel like someone's right behind you, kind of breathing down your neck, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Pressure.
But yeah, but like, okay, did you want to talk about something? Is there something that, I mean, I'm happy to chat with you.
I feel like I relate to Carolyn in wanting attention, but not really having anything to say. That's like me all the
Isn't
time.
that funny? Like, the second I'm like, you want to open the drawer? Everyone wants to see the drawer open, but you haven't opened it. I'm not asking you to do tricks, by the way, and I know you're a very refined woman. I just feel very casual with you, and I'm joking around a little bit. But if you want to let these folks, yes. Okay. Can you open the drawer for them? They haven't seen it. Okay, well, you don't have to. I'm not gonna ask you to do like, oh, hang on, ghost spreads here.
I don't know what ghost bread is, and I'm very curious to find out what's going to happen.
I will, it's because they have to see the.
How's it going?
Okay, so if any of you have watched Kindred Spirits, we have a production manager on the show, Sean Nichols, who I've just who I've just completely stolen to like work with me in every chance I can get. Thankfully, his wife is very awesome, and she's here too, celebrating her birthday. Princess is very excited to see you.
I hear that.
So this is the actual ghost spread, the real deal. It's a real,
I feel like I'm meeting a
only
celebrity.
one. So there it is. Sean, say hi to everybody really quick. This is Sean.
Hi, everybody, really quick.
Hey, Sean.
How's it going?
He brought a gin and tonic, I can see.
How do you know what this is?
I mean, that's complimentary.
It's his wife's birthday, so.
Spirits and spirits.
I'm sleeping.
She's sleeping?
Yes.
They also have an 8-month-old, and
Okay.
it's the first time they left the baby at home. So we're
That's
two.
big news. Big
Yeah.
jump.
Well, Bella's going crazy since Sean got here, by the way.
It's interesting how different presences too in a room might affect that. If I'm a male spirit with a male in the room, like how does that?
I
Is there a
don't know.
little-
I mean, I think in this case, like, it was very chill and it was just dinging every once in a while. Like, but then you got here and it's like,
someone's aware. Yeah.
yeah. This is my friend Sean. He's been here before. And he's been here many times. Is it okay if he stays in with us? You remember him now? He's fine. I promise. He's great.
People are asking for an explanation of the ghost bread if they're not familiar.
So the ghost spread, it's kind of a it's so basically when we were investigating Maplecroft in Fall River, which was Lizzie Borden's house that she bought after she was acquitted of the murders. So she lived in that house for 36 years until she died. And no one had really investigated it until we went and investigated it. And at that time, it was owned by the same people who owned the Lizzie Borden house. So it was very close to my home. And so in the evenings, my babysitter would bring Charlotte over during dinner break so that I could have Charlotte there for a couple, for like an hour or so, and I could say hi to her before bedtime. So anyways, she brought Charlotte over one night, but we weren't quite done filming an interview, and the producers needed Charlotte to be quiet, and she was not being quiet. And so our producer grabbed that exact loaf of bread off of like a fake food display in one of like the museum type areas, and he handed it to Charlotte, and he said, "Charlotte, this is the ghost bread." And ghosts love ghost bread. So if you want to go find a ghost, you got to take them this bread. So Charlotte takes that loaf of bread and I think she was 4, right? Like 4. She was tiny. And this is also, she was going through a phase where she just wore a pirate hat all the time. So she and her pirate hat and her bread, she went all by herself up to like the 2nd floor of Maplecroft, this big spooky mansion. And we hear her. So we're downstairs trying to film this interview quietly, but we hear Charlotte creep up the stairs and she's like, "Ghost, I have ghost bread." And we hear her like drop the bread and run down the stairs. So Sean goes up the other flight of stairs on the other side of the house and takes the bread. And then I told Charlotte, I'm like, "You should go check on the bread, Charlotte. Go see if the ghost found the bread." So she goes up again all by herself. And we hear her walk up and she's like, "Mom, the ghost took the bread. The bread is gone. Oh my gosh." And so she was so excited that the bread was gone. So the crew thought it was so hysterical that they put the bread in multiple shots in that episode. So there's like a scene where like Chip and Adam and I are like doing like a reading thing in the parlor and the bread is like under the couch, or we're like doing the reveal and the bread is up on the mantle. And then after that, the bread is in every episode of Kindred Spirits. It went on the road with us and we snuck it in every episode. And so that started in like season 3. And so now you have to go back and stream every episode and look for the bread because it was there. And that is Scout's honor, the exact loaf of bread. And
Wow.
Sean is like the caretaker of it. He takes it with him everywhere. It is like
Keeper of the bread.
he loves his baby, but the bread is a close second. So yes.
That's amazing. Speaking of bread and things and food, you have a cookbook coming out.
I do. So, okay.
Um,
I'm sorry. She's
do
really.
you want to share anything about that? Is the ghost bread in the cookbook? No,
There
but
are multiple bread recipes in the cookbook, and I believe we talk. I don't think we talk about we don't talk about the ghost bread in the book, but there are multiple bread recipes, including Jenny Wade's Civil War bread. Princess, princess. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I'm talking to them. Did you hear that?
Yep.
what was that?
You don't. Oh shit. I don't know what we just heard. What would you, that was like, it might be the wind.
That's the wind.
That's the wind.
I
The
don't think
first one though
was
was
the wind.
not.
No. It was like a thump. And
There was a
like
big thump and then like a scrape across the floor. Is there someone else here besides you, Princess? Is it someone we should be worried about, or is everything like? Silence. And
As soon as you start talking.
I know. I'm gonna turn it off just for now, but I'm gonna bring this back tomorrow, okay? Oh, I feel guilty. It was dinging as I turned it off. Okay, so sorry. The cookbook comes out on July 30th. It's called Food to Die For. Features recipes from all sorts of haunted locations, including one from the Mount Washington Hotel.
Excellent. We should all, and we, maybe we should do something for that too. I mean, I've seen a couple of the recipes and some of them are delicious. Some of them are not so delicious, but would be fun.
They're historic.
Historic. They have historical significance.
Yes.
So let's tick through some of these Q&A questions because we're going to be wrapping up in just a little bit here and then moving on to our meet and greet. So people are curious overall, a number of people, how it feels to sleep. Sleeping in that room? Have you slept in the room?
Oh yeah, I definitely have. I've actually slept in here multiple times. you will get woken up. Like it's one, like, you know, sometimes it depends on how tired you are. Usually when I'm in here, I'm exhausted because I've been working all day and all night and I sleep through it. But a couple of times I've just slept in here, just here for fun, and I get woken up. Like you're gonna hear bangs. I'm shocked that none of the drawers have opened tonight. The drawers open on either of these. It's yeah, you never know. People feel as though someone sits on the bed with them. So yeah, if you want to get a good night's sleep, I would not recommend this room. So
Another question is there, Melissa and Emma asked, is there anywhere we can hear the actual EVP recordings from Kindred Spirits?
just on the show.
Got it.
Yeah, just on the show. Because that honestly, you're not going to hear it any better than on the show. Because they put it like it's like real. It's not enhanced, but it's as great as it's going to be. Yeah.
How long can a DR60 run, the Panasonic? Have you ever left it on for its duration in the room?
I don't like to do that. I'm not a big fan of leaving recorders running. I like to be able to play it back immediately in case they're talking. But if you want to do something like that, I would recommend a Zoom recorder or the voice memo on your phone. But these are not really designed for that. And the problem is once this fills up, because I think this is from like 1998 or something. These are like $4,000 on eBay. It's stupid.
Oh my God.
But the problem is once it fills up, it just starts recording over itself.
Oh no.
So it loops over. So I keep this one like short and sweet. But for long recordings, I would use so funny story, the iPhone, if you do that voice memo trick that I told you about, when you play it back, like if you snore, you'll just hear like really fast because it'll be
That's just what I want to hear.
I know. So just be warned that it does sound a little crazy but when I stay in a haunted room, I do like to have a recorder running overnight. Although be ready, because there's been many times where I've played back a recorder and heard like whispers and stuff in the room with me.
Oh yeah, that's fun to be in a room. While you're sleeping. Have you ever been able to, so Amanda asked, have you ever been able to distinguish other spirits visiting this room besides the princess, or is she protective of her space?
Oh no, other spirits come in here all the time, and I don't know why I think it might just be because it's such a central spot where people investigate. Now here's the thing about the Mount Washington Hotel. They don't allow anyone to investigate here but me. And so this room anyone can investigate in. If you get this room, you can investigate in it. But so that's why I feel like they might come here more, because this is the one room where anyone can come in. It's probably the most investigated spot here. People are asking a ton of questions in here. They're bringing equipment, but like the rest of the hotel, any other spirits here, because I'm here only like 3 or 4 times a year, and not just me, but I mean anyone I bring with my events, but like those spirits don't have anyone to talk to the rest of the year. So if you're staying in here and you're asking for interaction, I feel like they might come from other parts of the hotel to talk to you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And you do tours like this all throughout the year, right? I mean,
now we're doing them twice a year. So we used to do one big event, and our last one of those was in November. And what we've switched to is 4 kind of micro events. So we do 2 weekends a year, and each day there's a new group of only 30 people. And so it's very small, it's very intimate. We like have meals together and we do lectures. They give you their historian walks you through the hotel and gives you the full tour of all the history of it. And then we investigate here in the princess room. And then we also have access now to her tea room, which is new. So, and those are the 2 spots that we investigate. It's pretty fun.
So Ashley asked, is this one of the locations where you think spirits come and go like they did in life, or like stopping by for a vacation? Like, what's the context for visitation generally?
Oh, I think they come and go. Like, I feel like when I die, I will probably haunt this hotel. Like, not all the time, but I will definitely come back here because it's one of my favorite places. Like, I feel like it's just so special. Like, people got married here, they had special events here, they had vacations here, like just wonderful memories. And I can totally imagine why they would come back again and again.
Totally. Megan asks, do you think Princess Carolyn likes the bell so much because it's easier for her to use, or what do you think draws her to the bell so much?
So I have a theory, and I'm probably wrong, but there used to be a bell system here to get like service.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if she's like, a bell, I know what this, like,
Yeah.
and and like bells were big, like at the front desk and stuff. Oh, do you guys saw the lights? I missed it. See, this is why you're here. Yeah.
Good assistance. Thank you guys.
Yeah. So I think it's the light. I think it's the bell just speaks to her. So
Yeah, something familiar. Let's see. We've also got oh, Nancy asks, do you think the princess, and I think, this is true of many recurring sort of phenomena in places. Do you think the princess likes a lot of attention or just gets tired of being asked the same questions over and over again? Like,
I think she likes attention, but I do think she gets tired of being asked the same questions. I always tell people to get really creative with their questions and just think conversationally. Like if you were meeting someone and you were trying to like interact with them and get their attention, like you're not going to ask them the same thing. And this goes for anyone in life. Like if you meet someone who has, just think about what they probably get asked all the time and try to think of something else.
Maybe that's your next book, is like ghost dating tips. It's like something for the living and the dead. It's like they're both the same.
It's so like me with what I do for a living, people always ask me the same questions over and over again. I'll never forget one time I was at a party and there was a police officer there and he was asking me all like the same questions I get all the time. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm going to answer these, but then you have to answer the generic questions I'm about to ask you. And then I was like, okay, what's the worst call you've ever been on? What's the most scared you've ever been? You've ever shot anybody? Like I just
Turnabout is fair play, obviously. Oh man. I mean, obviously there's a lot of people wishing for Kindred to come back, and we are all would love that. But what are you most excited about right now? Like you've got a couple of projects going that I think maybe people have heard about.
I have a lot of projects going. I have the cookbook coming out. The next season of the podcast is coming out. The Paranormal Circle is going to be launching soon if you haven't signed up for the waiting list for that. And I'm filming something really exciting in June that's going to be coming out probably in the fall. So
how do we get you out to Austin to go look at the Driscoll? And like we have so many haunted little locations.
I know. I want to so badly. Yeah. So you just have to tell them to bring me.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yes. For sure. People are asking, lots of Paranormal Circle. People are excited about that. It's so cool. It's so
we're working really hard on that. So
it looks awesome. It does. So we're going to move on to our meet and greet portion. Thank you everybody for coming. Our moderator is now going to eject you out of you. They're going to hit the eject button.
Thank you so much, everybody. It was so much fun. I'll keep you posted if anything else crazy happens.
Listen, if you see anything, if you can just post it and let us all know that you're okay, that it's like fun and things are happening, that would be really helpful.